Hello guys, and welcome to a Star Wars Battlefront video with me, Potent Plum,
me, Howling Westy, and this is the Xbox One version of Star Wars Battlefront EA Edition.
Yeah, so if you remember, in the last version of this video, Star Wars Battlefront, what we did is we played Battlefront 2, and we had gameplay of that and our thoughts of that one. And now we've got some gameplay of the Xbox One version that we captured earlier, and we're now going to tell you our thoughts on what think of the new ones in relation to the old one.
So yeah, just for clarification, the Battlefront 2 was on the Xbox One, as in the original Xbox, and this is on the Xbox One, as in the new one.
Yeah, so we've got original Xbox gameplay and then Xbox One gameplay, which is what this is on. So, do you want to start off, Corey? What are your thoughts on, as a whole, on the new Battlefront?
I pre-ordered the game, obviously, because Star Wars Battlefront was one of my biggest childhood games.
Yes.
Especially the second one, even to this day I still play it. And yeah, I was very excited when I heard they were making this. And when I got it, I really enjoyed it for the first few days.
Yeah, so just about this gameplay though, guys, if I don't seem to be playing the best, this was sort of my first time really playing the new one, with the new first person stuff. So what I really want to comment on is the engine, basically. So from the old one, they're also completely, the engine's completely different, and they've used, because they gave it to EA, I believe, it's basically now got the same engine as Battlefield. And honestly, from playing this first game, I could tell just how similar this was to Battlefield, because when I watched gameplay of it on YouTube, I thought, how is this anything like Battlefield? I thought all the people saying it was like Battlefield, I thought it was, complete utter nonsense. But really, when you actually play the game properly, you do realise that, I now realise what people say is a lot like Battlefield in that respect. Would you not agree, Corey?
Yeah and no.
Yes and no.
For me, if it was more like Battlefield, I probably would have enjoyed it more than what it is now.
Yeah, I feel there was a lot of people in the community that wanted it to be a lot like the old one, and there was a lot of people that wanted it to be like Battlefield. It seemed to have somehow gone in the middle, and it just seems to have not really worked, in my opinion.
Yeah, they didn't really please any of those audience.
Yeah, it just seems to have gone in the middle. I think they tried to compromise it, but it really didn't seem to be a very good compromise. But what I will say is this though, compared to the old one, because it is obviously on a new system, graphics are obviously a lot better than the old one.
Yes, but that's a given. For the time though, if we try and think of graphics of the time,
yes,
rather than graphics how they stand up now, graphics of the time for Battlefront 2 were the top of the league.
Yeah,
and
so
you could probably say the same for this as well.
I will say this, there is no online for obviously the old Battlefront anymore. Like the original Xbox online has been taken down, and
PS2 online for Battlefront 2 is down.
Yeah, so it's
and PC was taken down in 2014, I believe.
Yeah, so there's no online anymore, but I guess that's sort of the reason why many people wanted to go over to this new Battlefront game, because it really, people can play online with their friends again. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem to please that many people at the minute, if I'm honest, Corey.
Well, there are many reasons for that, such as only 5 planets, including the DLC, which we're playing now.
Yeah, so basically, compared to the old game, there was, how many maps were there, Corey, for the old game?
I think 16 off the top of my head.
Yeah, so there was 16.
And that's not including space maps.
Yeah, and now there's 5 in the new one. So they just seem to have, instead of the game getting bigger, which you think as a game goes on, it gets exponentially bigger with the sequels coming out.
Especially with this being on current gen as well.
Yeah, you think that they'd have made it 10 times bigger to take advantage of the new hardware. I'd say the only advantage they're taking of the new hardware is really the graphics, if I'm entirely honest.
And the graphics do look very nice, though.
Yeah.
We are going to say that. Another thing people were disappointed about, so as well as no large choice of maps, there was also no Clone Wars, no space battles, no galactic conquest, no instant action, no hunt mode.
So yeah, it's like, also we did cover these in our last video, so definitely go check out link in the description if you want to go and see those. So I think a problem that has really made a lot of people quite annoyed is the fact that this game lacks a server browser, unlike games like Battlefield. So
even Battlefront 2 in its day, I believe, had a server browser.
So I'm just going to cut to some gameplay. Okay guys, so this is basically, you're probably wondering why am I showing you a loading screen?
Yeah, this is actually halfway through the loading screen. The loading screen was going on for about 30 seconds before this.
Yeah, so basically the problem was, we basically went for a game of Walker Assault, and the problem is that it had to go through so many different servers till it found us one, and then the moment it found us a server, it put us in a match that had already finished. And the problem is, without a server browser, you just get put in a server where it's either full or stuff like this happens.
So yeah, after a minute of server browsing for Fighter Squadron, which is the dogfight,
Yes.
we just ended up getting in a game where we'd already lost pretty much from not even joining for a second.
Yeah, but for things with the server browser, you can manually go and find the right server. And with the automated system that they've got at the minute, it just seems a little bit... It just doesn't seem to be very well constructed together, because it takes ages to find you a server. I don't know whether that's because there's a lack of servers or whether they're just poor. But then it puts you in a game that's finished, or it's full, or there's no one in it. I can't remember, someone was telling me that they ended up having to wait like half an hour just to get into a decent game, because they either got full games that had finished, or games that were empty. So I'd say honestly that is sort of lazy game design if they've not even included a server browser on such a game like this.
Yeah, and also, like what happened to us earlier, we don't have gameplay of this, but we tried to join one of the modes on the game.
Yes.
And what ended up happening was we joined the mode, and it said browsing for server 100% full. Okay, now 70%, 50%, 40%, 30%, until it said, okay, now looking for empty servers.
Yeah, so it was just pretty much... It just went through all of its search categories to the point where it was just went, right, I'll put you in any game, and then it found us a game that had been pretty much just finished. So it really just, the server browsing doesn't seem to be that great, if I'm entirely honest. One thing I want to talk about though, Corey, is the actual heroes that are in the game.
Oh yeah, the heroes.
So basically, obviously with the new one, there is, I believe, 6 heroes, compared to the last game, that featured pretty much every single one that was in Star Wars, basically, minus Kylo Ren.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say every single one, because there were a lot of Jedi.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There is no Clone Wars in this one?
Yeah, but they basically featured the main people, basically, they're the most iconic that people are going to recognise. I mean, what kind of surprised me is they didn't actually include Kylo Ren, and he's the most controversial at the minute, with all the stuff that's going on. So why do they not put him in the game? It just doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, they've confirmed that in DLC there will be no Clone Wars DLC, and there will be no Force Awakens DLC.
So literally there's going to be no Kylo Ren or anything. So
there's going to be no First Order versus Resistance, which was another reason people were excited for this game, because they've got the new era.
Yes.
And there's going to be no Clone Wars.
Although, as we were saying though, while there was no space battles, there was one thing that caught my eye, and that was air battles. Okay, so this is one of the things that did catch my eye with the new one though, so this is kind of a positive thing, which I think is kind of a nice substitution to space battles, but honestly I don't think it really fills the void that space battles isn't there anymore. I think this is sort of a bit of a substitute, but I do think it is pretty good nonetheless. So what is your opinion on Fighter Squadron?
I enjoy Fighter Squadron. Oh, 1 minute, guys. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so we are back. Sorry about that. So
yeah.
This is basically the air-to-air battles, which I did kind of like how they've included Slave One and Millennium Falcon, but I think would have been amazing here is if you'd have been able to say, get out of your TIE fighter and fight on the ground, or fly up and go into space.
Right, so one thing we've been doing a lot is comparing it to Battlefront 2,
yes.
which is a game on the original Xbox, the Xbox One, as we jokingly call it.
Yeah.
But I want to compare it to a less well-known game, which is Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron on the PSP.
Okay.
So that game, you could actually play as heroes in ships. You could get the Millennium Falcon, Slave One, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
In that. Also, you had land to space battles, where you could be in a ship and take part in the space battle, but then also transition to the surface and do the land battle as well.
Yeah.
So that game, I would say, kind of had more than Battlefront 2 in a way, and that was on a handheld console, and it did push the PSP to its limits.
And then you look at the Xbox One, and in summary, that I would say Battlefront, the new Battlefront, it is a good game. Like, I did enjoy like the survival aspect, you know, sort of the hero battles, even though Corey does seem to kick my ass a lot of the time, but I'd say it's still quite a fun experience.
Luke Skywalker is OP.
Yeah, but then you just compare it to its old competitors, and it just really just doesn't hold up at all compared to its older brothers. Basically, I just feel it's just a shadow of what it once was, in my opinion. Sort of the whole Battlefront thing.
But if you're new to Battlefront and this is the only game you've played, I can see why you're looking at all the reviews of this game and saying, "What? How's it disappointing? It's not a bad game."
Yeah, but it's not a bad game in itself. But compared to its other brothers, it just doesn't stand up to what the Battlefront once was, in my opinion.
Yeah,
definitely playing the old Battlefront 2. I mean, I've not played Battlefront like the original Battlefront, but I've definitely played Battlefront 2, and that, I'd say if they made the graphics better on Battlefront 2, stepped it up to next gen, I'd honestly say I would buy that over the new Battlefront from the content.
And there's another thing missing, which we will talk about in a second.
Just lit up. Those are Imperial
Okay, so
fighters. We need
on
to
the
protect
PC
our transport ships
version, you
coming
expect
off
this
world.
with most modern games, mod support. Did EA give this game mod support on PC?
Not in the slightest.
No. But if you look at Star Wars Battlefront 2 mods, you can see how incredible mods can actually get.
Yeah, so I've seen. Was it not a Kylo Ren mod for the old Battlefront?
For Battlefront 2, there was indeed a Force Awakens Coruscant.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know why EA just didn't add any mod support at all, because I can understand it online. So, you know, say someone had like invincibility or something, I can understand they wanted to ban that. But any mods that add, you know, creativity or add bonus stuff to the game that people can do in single player, so they can say, who plays Kylo Ren or plays, say, Darth Maul, you know, just something like that, single player, you know, wouldn't harm anyone else. I don't know why they didn't add any support for that.
I know why. Do you want me to tell you why there's no mod support?
Why would that be?
Because the majority of the game is online only. Yeah, there might be little offline modes that you can play.
Yeah, but there's no actual campaign mode really as
There's no
such.
campaign, there's no instant action.
Imperial air defense is coming into
Nothing really
range.
to just play a quick game offline that you want to play. So that'll probably be the reason why there is no mod support. Because
It's all online, and you can't actually, and I'm guessing as well that they probably want to charge people for DLC, because I saw the new Battlefront like in the shop, basically on like shelves price, but in the UK I believe it's about £80 for, say, like all the bonuses and the season pass, and it's like, for what it is it really worth £80 for this and the DLC? It's like, it's about £50 just to stand alone, and honestly I wouldn't really say it's worth the price tag that it's got.
Well, here's what I'd
attached
say.
to it.
All the stuff what's in it, then this is what other YouTubers have said in their reviews as well, so I know we might sound like we're copying them a little bit, but it's true. It feels like half a game, not a full game.
Yeah, it's like, I almost feel like they've taken parts of the old Battlefront, stuck them on a canvas, and just hoped that, and you know, stuck a few fancy things on it, and just hoped that it'd work. And honestly, it's like, I don't think they've looked at the bigger picture of what Battlefront was. They haven't looked at the old game and gone, okay, let's keep this and expand from it. What they've done is they've kept quite a narrow view, plucked a few things out, you know, improved them a little bit, and that's about it. So it feels like you've got half of the old game almost just in with a new skin sort of thing.
And by the way, guys, this is coming from someone who didn't play the old Battlefronts in their childhoods.
Yeah.
Never really played it traditionally.
Yeah, I didn't really play much of Battlefront. It's like I wasn't really that much into sort of Battlefront games, but now I've actually played it and actually seen what it's all about. It does actually look a pretty good game, I must say.
I would definitely enjoy playing the PC version.
Yeah, especially with all the mods and stuff, which, as we said, are not present in the newer versions.
Yeah, there's even a mod pad that adds planets from our solar system.
Yeah, but so in summary, Corey, what do you think? This is sort of a quick brief of like of this compared to the old version?
A quick brief. I'm going to compare it to both Battlefront 2 and Elite Squadron.
Okay.
Okay, so no space battles, Battlefront 2. No ground to space combat, there's no space battles at all, which is Elite Squadron.
Yes.
Heroes, vehicles and everything are pickups, which we didn't mention earlier.
Yeah.
You can't just find them lying around.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a weird concept, how instead of actually saying Titan, for example, I know this might be a bit of a weird comparison.
Or even Battlefront 2.
Yeah, so you find a Titan in Titanfall, you get in it and then you're away. In this you find a weird orb and then you're suddenly in it, which it just seems a bit weird. And so, although I haven't actually flown in the Millennium Falcon yet, I wasn't lucky enough to get it at all in any of these clips, which is kind of unfortunate.
Well,
but
another thing we should probably mention as well is this game doesn't use a class system like the old one. You have to unlock all the weapons.
yeah, that's one thing though I don't actually like about this. How you've got all. Say you've got the deluxe edition, you get all the powerful weapons to start off with. The pistol I played with, I forgot what it's called now.
It was Han Solo's pistol.
Yeah, it pretty much just one-shots anything, besides like the toughest of heroes, and it's got quite a decent fire rate on it as well. And now I can actually see why lower level players are really annoyed at the high level players.
Yeah, because when you first played the game, you got into Battle of Jakku. We didn't record this, but
It was again.
killed like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, in the old Battlefront, I think is a lot more balanced compared to this. How it's like they don't even respond to people when they want that weapon nerfed. It's like the high level players just. I don't know. I almost sort of feel like they want there to be that imbalance, so you get the deluxe edition, so you can have all that stuff.
It wouldn't surprise me really, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, in general,
Imperial
I'd
Squadron
probably say
incoming.
it feels like half a game. They changed a lot of things for the worse, I would
Yeah.
say. So, if they're going to make another Battlefront, I'd say make it more like the old one.
Yeah, I'd definitely say if you're going to look for inspiration after you make a new one, get the inspiration from the old one. Just because it's old does not mean it's bad in this case. So I'd say overall, guys, what we're trying to say is that it really hasn't lived up to what it was all hyped up for, and it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a Battlefront game anymore. It's just, I think they've just made it too generic with sort of the other FPSs. It's just not distinguished itself like it once did. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all we've got time for, guys. So
just before we end, if you had to give it a review score out of 10, what would you
probably
actually give
about
it?
a 5 or a 6. I'd honestly probably be that low. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye from Potent Plum.
And Howling Western.